Well, my friends, if you've been wondering where I've been the last couple, I guess since Thursday, it's the last time I did a video. I've been in Seattle, Washington. We drove to Forks, like I think I already did in a different video said. We drove over to Bellingham. We went to, what's that place outside of Forks? Like a beach place. The Push, excuse me, y'all is driving. Today we went to Wenatchee. Whatever that, Leavenworth, that Bavarian place, and we're leaving tomorrow. Leaving tomorrow morning. So it's Chloe and I on our trip in Washington. And let me just say, I am stunned how insanely pretty this state is, and friendly too. I mean, right, Cole? Like we didn't. I mean, everyone we talked to has been nice. I mean, we went to in Seattle. They had some places a Thai food donut shop slash laundromat. People there nice as could be, right off MLK Boulevard, in the sound of in some place in Seattle. And generally speaking, MLK Boulevards are usually a hard scrabbled part of town, generally speaking. And people in there are friendly as could be. They had a group of older men gathered and just it's freaking homespun. Everyone has their 12-man shirt here for Seattle because the Seahawks are pretty big. I don't know anything about the MLS, and I think Seattle's getting a hockey team next year, which is pretty awesome. Seattle itself doesn't do much for me, Frank. It's it's okay. It's just the town. Everyone talks about Seattle this, Seattle that. Chloe and I went to the fish market. That was fine, and that was a good time. We bought some apples at $4 a pop, which are freaking fantastic. But it didn't do much. I don't know how people. They got these huge crabs, these huge freaking halibuts, and all this huge fish, gigantic. And who buys that stuff? Because, I mean, it's downtown, and tourists aren't going to buy that take with them. I mean, if you're working in Russell Investment Building or Zillow right there, you're not going to buy that. And I mean, you're not going to cook it right there. I don't know if you put it in a styrofoam thing and bring it home with you. I don't know. So tourists don't buy it. The business people who work around here, they don't buy it. Who else would buy it? Is the locals? But are the locals living downtown in the financial district? I don't know. Obviously, those places are successful because they're booming. I mean, there's freaking, they're there. There's tons of them. I'm sure they pay a hefty price for rent too. So, I just don't. I get the knickknacks and stuff that people buy, but I don't get the other stuff. I don't get who buys that. So, if you have any ideas, I'd be curious. Like who buys the fish? Who buys the crabs? Who buys all that? The stuff that's that needs to be sold because it can't be. I can't imagine there's huge amounts of people buying that stuff. I don't know who it would be. So Wenatchee was disappointing. I expected a lot out of Wenatchee. A guy texted me a picture of him living on his back porch. It looked freaking awesome. I just like green. I need green, and Wenatchee didn't have hardly any green at all. And it has a Columbia River. It's freaking gorgeous. I mean, don't get me wrong, but not when you go through the mountains on King County 90 East, Clay Elam, right? Clay Elam. I mean, it's freaking insane. And I mean, I'm sitting here thinking I'm in Colorado. It's not Colorado. It's Washington. I'm sitting there. You're looking at these huge, gorgeous mountains. It's the fall. It's sunny out right now. And people, doesn't sunny. Look, man, I don't know. But all I know is it's sunny today. Last time I was here 25 years ago or something like that, it was sunny. And, obviously 2 days does not a season make. I get that. But it was just those mountains are freaking insanely gorgeous, insane. And that was on the other side of the mountain, still part of King County. And you go to Clay Elam, and it's green. It's just freaking, it's a paradise. It's a little bit way out of the way out of the way. I mean, too small for me for sure. Chloe and I went around. I forgot what outside of Wenatchee, some town by. Kashmir, yeah, Kashmir. Woo, that was kind of creepy. We were like, where the hell are we? And because GPS wasn't really showing much because it doesn't get serviced out there. Woo, and we're way out in the woods someplace, not the woods, but the mountains someplace. Like, how the hell are we gonna get out of here? Finally found our way, and we went to that Bavarian village, which is cool. The Bavarian villages, we have one in Georgia, Helen. they're all kind of fake to me. I mean, a little bit touristy and whatnot. They don't do much for me. I mean, it's cool and all, but I just, it seems like they're throwing that together just to attract. It's almost like the Disney, going like a Disney theme park. You know, hey, this looks like, you know, Hansel and Gretel. It looks like that, but it doesn't do much for me. But the towns itself, and then Bellingham was, I'm telling you, man, that whole from, I guess. So we're going through Seattle. We drove around University of Washington. And again, that just doesn't do anything for me. It's just, you know, houses on top of houses, and just, I don't know. I like green, I like trees, I like open space. I've always had excitement with city, with activity. I remember when I used to clean carpets for a living when I was in college. I'd get up early, and, you know, you'd be on the road because you'd have to be at someone's house at 7:30 or something like that. And you'd go down to DC or going to Arlington. Hell, you'd go to McLean, you'd go out into Manassas, but Alexandria. I always enjoyed going into where, you know, people are opening up shop, people are delivering good. I've always liked, you know, the hustle and bustle. I've always enjoyed immensely. Seattle had a lot of that. It doesn't do anything for me. And downtown, I mean, look, wherever the fish market was, I don't know if that's considered. I don't know idea, but that was nice. It wasn't dirty. There's a couple bums and stuff, but you know, I didn't see all the communists. You know what you say, all these homeless people. I'm sure it's around. I guarantee. I didn't see it. We were only there for, you know, freaking 2 hours or something like that. So I'm sure we missed it, which is good. And, you know, maybe they police that up. They don't want those bums getting in front of you. Is trying to spend money at the tour shops. I don't know, but it wasn't San Francisco, which I kind of was halfway expecting. In of itself, that doesn't do anything. Seattle, I mean, it's a town. It's like Boston, Philadelphia. I mean, they all have, you know, pros and cons. But for me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's all right. Nothing wrong with it. But man, that Bellingham, whew. You got Vancouver, Washington. I guess, you know, an hour away or something like that. Seattle's an hour away, something like that. You got Victoria, BC. You go out. I mean, it's like a combination of Maine. You got these blueberries, apples, but you got mountains. So you got a combination of Maine, like Portland, Maine, with a waterfront, the seagulls, the smell. It's a working port, which is awesome. And then on top of that, though, you got these freaking mountains back there. Oh, it's freaking fantastic. Now, I have no idea what real estate, we don't really know. I have no idea. Like, it's Washington, so presumably it gets, you know, raining more than it does in Georgia. But I don't know that to be true. I mean, Georgia gets rains a lot, man. In the summertime, you know, it's the South. The South, you get a lot of rain for sure. I don't know anything about it. I just know it's freaking gorgeous. And for a guy from Maine, it really reminded me of being from Maine, you know, in terms of just everything about it, except with mountains. It's nuts. And it's a little bit, it's kind of like, for you, those of you all in New Jersey, Bellingham reminded me of Portland, Maine to some regard, and Haddonfield, New Jersey. And I've lived in both. Haddonfield, New Jersey is just an awesome place. I mean, look, I don't even want to say I'm concerned. I'm a conservative libertarian. I love America. I like my Second Amendment rights. I want to be left alone. I don't care what other people do with themselves. I could care less. You know, but I am on the right when it comes to, if I had to choose between left and right, I'd certainly be on the right. But we lived in Haddonfield, definitely not a right-wing part, but we got along with everybody. You know, Chloe and I talked to people. We asked questions. Everyone's polite, friendly. You know, one lady had a little thing in her nose and ear. I mean, all that stuff. No one cares. As long as you're nice to people, it's nuts. And so we're sitting there, and I'm sure there's assholes here, there's assholes everywhere. But, hell, they're in Georgia, they're assholes too. Anywhere you go, they're going to be, you know, punks. But, you know, at the end of the day, we sat there. People were friendly. You smiled to them. It was and anyway, I was saying initially, so I told Chloe, I said, all right, you know, let's go up to this place called Bellingham. It's about an hour and a half north. And we're driving, and it just, you know, from leaving Seattle to about Everett, I was like, it's just kind of boring. I almost felt like turning around. And then you go like on the north side of Everett, and just like, it's freaking awesome. It's awesome. You sit there and you're like, where have you been all my life? It's insane. And I love it, man. I tell you, I'll be looking at that as one of my top 3 destinations for your old buddy Josh for sure, because it was just incredible. And you know, Chloe and I ate on someplace, and the waitress there, she was born in Huntsville, but you know, she still has family in Alabama. But she goes, yeah, she'll never leave. And you know, she's probably 20, 22 or something like that. And they got a Western Washington University right there, and so it was an incredible town. And we went out in the sticks a little bit, which was fantastic. And like I said, it's like Haddonfield, New Jersey, because in Haddonfield it's a walking town. You walk wherever you go. All right, so Haddonfield is, I say, maybe 30,000 people. In Haddonfield, you just walk. You walk to the store, you walk to school, you walk to the train. It's fantastic. Other than having my mittens sign up for 2012, because I was big on mittens, which I've shuddered to think. But other than having my mittens sign up and people stealing that, Actually, I never put up a mitten sign. I put up an NRA sign, and then people stealing that. You know, people knew. I mean, people were fine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no one said, got in my face, you're a right winger. No one ever did that. It was just people were polite. Now, would that change now? I highly suspect it would not. I think most people just don't care. They say, look, you got a political opinion, I got a political opinion, it's all good. And so we had a lot of good neighbors and good friends in Haddonfield, even though it's New Jersey, even though it's, you know, liberal, and even though it's expensive in terms of property tax, but we enjoyed it immensely. In fact, if I had to say Haddonfield versus Boerne, Texas, I would take Haddonfield for sure. Beach is an hour and a half away. Philadelphia is 15 minutes away. It was a fantastic place. You could walk everywhere. It's great. And that's what kind of reminded me of Bellingham, except you got the water right there and you got the mountains. And so you take Portland, Maine with the water, you take Haddonfield, like the community, where people can walk, and then you throw some mountains on there. So, my goodness, nuts. And then, yeah, again, I don't know what the climate is. I mean, I presume it's not sunny every day. I get that, but you know, you're never gonna have green like this without, you know, if it's dry. I mean, that's the one thing about Wenatchee. See, this is right by our hotel. You see this walking trail. That's the thing about Wenatchee, is that it's so dry, it's brown. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna have this kind of, you know, freaking wetlands if it's going to be dry all the time. It doesn't work like that. So anyway, it's a Washington State, probably the most beautiful state I've ever seen. I've been through a lot of states, and I have been to Hawaii, you have been to Montana, but I tell you, this place is freaking insanely awesome. So highly encourage you to look at it, and for sure, because man, I'm stunned how beautiful it is here. All right, we'll see you.